Hey y'all, and welcome back to Leonard Creek Farm. All right, guys, we are in here with Miss Nala and baby boy, and today I want to talk to you all about what we did for aftercare for Miss Nala, specifically for a traumatic birth. Also, if you have not seen the previous video that we posted about Miss Nala's birth, I will link it in the description so you can kind of understand or know what I'm talking about, a traumatic birth. I'll explain a little bit in this video, but go watch that other video so you can get a more in-depth overview of her birth. All right, guys, so we are on day 4 of our little baby boy being here. His name is Ranger, like I said in the other video. And we are going to discuss what the aftercare looks like for what we did for Miss Nala during a traumatic birth. I want to preference this by saying I'm not a vet. This is our first time having a live birth on our farm. If you don't know what I mean by having a live birth on our farm, you can go back and look some of my other goat videos without getting into depth on this video. We've had multiple miscarriages on the farm, some of them being full term, some of them being not full term, some of them being close to full term, and some of them being just our faults for not being here. So, anyways, without going into too much of that, this is the first time we've ever had a baby being born on this farm that actually made it. So, it's a monumental moment. And anywho, so because of that, we've done quite a bit of research to learn from mistakes that we've made and to make sure that we're giving our girls the best care we possibly can in order to ensure that hopefully we can have some healthy babies and some healthy mamas. So first, I would like to talk a little bit about her birth. Like I said, I'll link the video below of actually what happened. But long story short, the baby got stuck and we had to go in. And so, in a case where you have to go in, it obviously opens mama up to infection. And so, there's some aftercare things that we did to ensure, hopefully, that she wouldn't have any kind of infection. And so far, it's worked. And so, let's talk a little bit about that. All right, so here's mama and baby right here. This is Mr. Ranger. He is 4 days old. He was born on Saturday, this Saturday, I guess last Saturday. And here's Mama right here. Both are doing good as far as I know. I haven't seen anything to make me question that they are doing good. But with our previous losses, we are definitely on guard. And so let's talk about what we did, the kind of care we gave her after she had her beautiful baby boy. So, like I said previously, we did have to go in. Me and Andy both were trying to get in and get this little guy out. And so, when we went in, we obviously, like I said previously, we introduced the possibility of infection. And so, first thing we did after she gave birth, number 1 was to go ahead and give her antibiotic. The specific antibiotic that we gave her, no, the specific antibiotic that we gave her was LA200. Now, I have researched and them say that you, if you suspect infection or anything like that, you would want to continue the antibiotic, but we went ahead and gave her that first antibiotic, and she did so well after having the baby and stuff, and we haven't seen any signs of any infection, that we did not continue with the antibiotic. So the first thing we did was go ahead and give mama some antibiotic because we did have to go in. The second thing that we did, she had 3 different shots that day. We went ahead and gave her antibiotic, LA-200. We went ahead and wormed her. We gave her ivermectin. So we went ahead and wormed her. The reason why you worm her, from my understanding and research, is, it's kind of makes sense, that obviously they're going to be weaker. And so when they're weaker, they're more susceptible to worms. If they're more susceptible to worms, they'll probably get worms. And so we went ahead and wormed her. Thirdly, the third shot that we give her was a B complex. And anytime any of my goats show any kind of sickness or anything like that, I automatically just go ahead and give them B12. B12 helps so much. It gives them a little boost. It makes them a little bit brighter, in my opinion, and it helps them out. And also, anytime we worm, or most of the times we worm, I give B12 or B complex. So that was the third thing that we gave her. So to review, we gave LA-200 antibiotics because we went inside and it could cause infection. Secondly, we gave her a wormer because they're more susceptible after giving birth to have worms. And thirdly, we went ahead and gave her a B complex, which, like I said, will give her a boost. And along with the wormer, it's just better to help with a gut situation. All right, so that's the shots we gave. Next, I went ahead and got her feed ready. I did give her feed pretty quickly after she gave birth. She had feed that day, but I don't know about you all, you mamas. After I gave birth, I was ready to eat. I was so hungry. And so we went ahead and gave her some extra love with some feed. And with the feed, I did add some loose minerals. I do add minerals to my goat feed quite often. I believe I'd even give her minerals in her feed the first time I fed her that day, but I went ahead and added some more loose minerals to her feed. And along with that, I gave Red Cell. Red Cell has iron in it, and these guys right here need iron. They get low on iron or copper or anything like that, and it causes issues. So we went ahead and give her some Red Cell, and we went ahead and give her some minerals in that feed. Also, there's other minerals inside Red Cell that obviously are going to give her a boost and help her get back to her normal self. Secondly, to add with the feed, we went ahead and gave her some warm sugar water. It's ideal to have molasses water, but I didn't have any molasses. I don't have any molasses, and I think you can even do honey, but you'd have to look that up to make sure. I know a lot of people give honey just to give goats medication, so and I'm sure it would give them a boost. So I went ahead and gave her some warm sugar water. She drank 3 bowls of that warm sugar water. She was so thirsty, of course, after giving birth. And that's typical for even human mamas to be really thirsty and really hungry after giving birth. So she got some warm sugar water, and she got some extra feed with some extra minerals along with the Red Cell. Okay, so after she gave birth, like I said, we went ahead and did all the necessary medications. The last thing that I want to stress, and I had seen this multiple times when I was researching what I needed to look for after birth, the things that I needed to make sure were happening after she gave birth. So one of the last few things that we need to talk about is what happens after they give birth. What are some of the things that need to happen after they give birth? And one of those is for her to give birth to placenta. And so it's the same thing with human mamas. We have to birth that placenta after we have the baby. They can get severely sick, and I believe even death, if they retain the placenta. So it is very important to make sure that your girls are getting rid of that placenta, birthing that placenta. And so here's a better look at our little guy. And they're birthing that placenta. So I wanted to make sure that after she had the baby, like I said, this is our first time having to deal with any kind of situation like this. And so, but I was aware that I needed to make sure that she had that placenta. And so she did birth the placenta, I guess, about an hour after she had her little guy, and everything came out good. And she birthed it with ease. We didn't have no problem there. Next, you want to make sure that they're using the restroom, that they're going number 2 and number 1. You want to make sure that everything is working properly after that. Even more so if you have to go in, because if you're going in, you're moving things around in there. Unfortunately, it's not fun having to go in. You definitely don't want to go in, but in this case, we had to. And I was all the way up in here. So my arms were all the way up in there, and I told Andy, I said, now I know what the inside of a goat feels like, because I've been all in there. So after she had the baby, like I said, we wanted to make sure that she was birthing that placenta well, that she was also using the restroom. She's looking at me now. That she was also going to the bathroom, number 1 and number 2, well, without any issues, making sure that she was using the restroom. And I did make sure that she used the restroom more than one time before I even left Mama and Baby. We want to make sure that everything was working well there. Also, along with the restroom, you want to make sure that their stool looks correct. You don't want any kind of diarrhea or anything like that. I'm not sure if it's common for mamas to have diarrhea after they have the baby. It may be common. You will probably have to do some research on that. But her stool stayed normal. It might be a little bit darker than it typically was before she gave birth, but it was normal, pellets. It was, it looked the way it should be. So to review this part, we want to make sure that she passes placenta, we want to make sure she's passing urine, and we want to make sure that she's passing her stool. Alright, so we've got Mama done there, so what should the baby be doing? So, couple hours after they have given birth, you want to make sure that they are up, that they are eating, that they are moving around, that they found the teats, and you want to make sure that they're getting that first colostrum. It is very, 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 very important that they get that first colostrum. It helps with gut health. It gives them the bacteria they need in their stomach to fight off anything that they could catch or get, such as infections, such as coccidiosis, things like that they could pick up very, very easily. They need that colostrum to boost their little bodies and to help them make it through the first few days of their life and the rest of their life. And so you want to make sure that Mama and Baby have got that eating the milk and getting on the teat down. Going right along. What is it? Going right along with Mama and Baby getting figured out where the milk comes from and how Baby can get on it and stuff. And probably most importantly, even before they get on the milk, you need to make sure that Mama and Baby are bonding. That she is licking the baby, that she is attentive about the baby, that she is worried where the baby's at, that she is very, very wrapped around and concerned about what the baby is doing. If that doesn't happen, a lot of times it's not good. You do want to make sure that they are bonding in a correct manner, in a correct way, and that way it'll make it a lot easier. In that case, if a mama has the baby and is licking and taking care of it, your chances are definitely higher that they will get that first colostrum, that they'll get that mama and baby bond. That way, she can maybe help the baby a little bit to find that milk. And so it is very, very, very important that mama and baby are bonding. And I say that as she's coming back to him. She doesn't let him get very far. In those first, that entire first 2 or 3 days, she was very, very, very attentive of him and wanted to make sure that she knew that she knew exactly where he was at, and was licking him to death. Just licking, 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 licking. She wanted to make sure he was good and clean, and that he knew that she was mama. And so you want to make sure that they're having that mother-baby bond. That way that you can ensure that she will do her best to take care of that little guy. There they are. That is very important, and that sets up pretty much that how much care you will have to do, and how much you will have to care for the baby in the first moments of when mama and baby meet, and how well that she bonds to her baby. A few other pretty obvious things that mama might need, one of them being hay. You want to make sure that mama has access to fresh, clean hay every single day. You want them to have overflow of hay when you come in. It shouldn't be completely empty of hay. Your feeders should be full. They should have they should be able to get hay whenever they want to. Along with that, we do feed grain. Some people opt out of grain, but she is getting a little bit of extra grain to go ahead and boost her a little bit more, and ensure that she is producing quite a bit of milk for this little guy. Also, you want to make sure that the water is topped off with fresh, clean water every day. If it gets stuff in it, you're going to have to clean it out. You want to make sure that your buckets are clean and filled with fresh, clean water. All of this stuff is important when they're not having babies, but it's even more so important when they are having babies. That way that mama is healthy and baby is getting what he needs from a healthy mama. If mama's not healthy, baby's not healthy. And so you want to make sure, like I said, fresh, clean hay every single day. Top this off, fill this up, make sure that she has access to hay. We have just a small hay feeder here. I fill it up probably about twice a day to make sure that she has got all the hay she needs. And along with water, you want to make sure that they have got a very good supply of fresh, clean water, not just a little bit of water. She is drinking more water now than she ever did before, and we are keeping that bucket topped off with fresh, clean water. Also, along with fresh, clean water, just to add to that, you want to make sure that they are getting fresh, clean. Their bedding is fresh and clean. You don't have to clean it up every day. I don't clean it up every day. It maybe would be wise to clean it up every day if you have the means to do that, but I do come in here. We do scoop up feces. We do put new fresh shavings down every couple of days. He's been alive for 4 days. We've changed the bedding twice. So you do want to make sure that the bedding is fresh and clean. You want to make sure that you get rid of all the extra goop and all that afterbirth stuff. You want to make sure that you clean that up. Some people allow their goats to eat the placenta, which I think is fine, but you don't want to leave it in there forever. She doesn't eat it. She don't want it around. You need to make sure that you get it out of there, because that's another way to cause some issues later on down the road. So you want to make sure, like I said, fresh, clean hay, fresh bedding, fresh water. You want to make sure everything is staying as clean as possible. Okay, lastly, what should my baby look like after we're 4 days after birth here? What should he look like? What should he be doing? what are the common things that a healthy baby should look like. So first off, you want to be making sure that we are doing all the necessary bowel movements and we are urinating. You want to make sure that you see that the baby is has those bowel movements and that the baby is urinating. The first day, I think I only seen him go number 2 once, but if I'm not mistaken, I seen him go to the number 1 a couple times, and so I wanted to make sure that after he was born that he was making the necessary bowel movements. I suggest to look up what baby goat feces should look like, and what is common and what is not common. But you definitely want to make sure that they're using the bathroom, especially by day 4. They should be using the restroom pretty regularly. They should be going number 1 and number 2 pretty regularly. The feces of a baby is different than the feces of what a normal size mama goat or anything like that is. It is different, so I suggest you look that up and kind of figure out for yourself what's appropriate and what's inappropriate when it comes to bowel movements for the goats. You also need to be making sure that they are warm. And what I mean by that is if they're warm, they're fed. If they're not warm, they're not being fed properly. They're not getting enough mama's milk. They should be warm. And how you check that in the wintertime is check ears. Ears are cold, they're not warm enough. Mama should be feed them enough for them to stay warm. I think that's more of a problem with multiples, especially in the wintertime. You really got to make sure that them babies are staying warm in the wintertime, but mama can keep them warm if she's feeding them. If they're getting enough feed, they should be warm. And so to review on what babies should be doing, they should be warm with mama's milk. They should be using the restroom, number 1 and number 2. And they should be getting up and moving around a little bit. They do sleep a lot. As you can see right here, he's slept the whole entire time. But he does get up and move around and does these little hops. And he is a feisty little guy. And to add more on to what they should be doing, this little guy is a fighter. And if he doesn't want to do something, he'll push against you. And so you want to make sure that you've got a lively little fella baby that is being a little turkey and maybe pushing against you, or when you pick them up, maybe them hollering and having enough maybe personality, I'll call it, to where you can tell that they're a good, happy, healthy baby. A happy, healthy baby is going to be a little bit stubborn. And so that is something to look for. You want to make sure that you've got a little bit of that goat stubbornness that goes right along with them. They all have different personalities, of course, but you do want to make sure that they have got the strength to be up and moving around and maybe just a little bit stubborn. All right, guys, I appreciate you watching. And like I said previously, I'm not a vet. I'm not a goat expert. I don't claim to be a goat expert. This is just stuff that I've learned from being around goats, for a lot of research, a lot of research, and watching a lot of videos and hearing a lot of people talk. I don't know everything, don't claim to know everything, but I just want to put this out here to help others. I'm not claiming to, like I said, I'm not claiming to be an expert or a doctor in any way, and if you do have any problems, you probably need to call your vet. Don't take my word for absolutely everything. And do your own research. Do your due diligence, as they say, and really look and see the things that you need to be looking for out on your farm. Because like I said, I'll say it again, I'm not an expert. This is our first time having baby goat on the farm. And so I'm far from a seasoned goat owner, but I figured I'd just do this to help people out. although it is our first time, like I said, I've done research, and I'm learning right along with this experience. And so I'll just drop some little nuggets of what I've learned here. But I appreciate you all watching. I appreciate you all hanging out with us. And we hope to see you next time. And the little guy is just sleeping right away. So we'll see you later. Bye.